you are not eating enough protein, and that's exactly why you have failed your fat loss transformation. You ended up smaller but looking worse and losing muscle mass. And here's how to fix it. I put together a beginner's guide to eat more protein. So for those who don't know me, I'm Coach Ábris, founder of Demi Cycle Protocol, and over the past year we helped over 50 high achievers and corporate executives over the ages of 40 and 50 permanently go below 15% body fat, gain lean muscle and strength, and double their natural energy levels through sleep optimization without having to take sleep drugs, abuse stimulants, count calories, or train more than 2 to 3 hours per week, or having to say no to their favorite foods. And now we're gonna talk about the only macro that we did track and we did found very important, and that macro was protein. And we'll also talk about if you need whey protein or not to actually build muscle or preserve your muscle mass meanwhile you're losing fat. So first of all, I had CFO of a major company reaching out to me a couple of weeks ago that he actually lost quite a bit of body weight in the past couple of months. Past 4 months he lost 21 pounds of body weight by himself, but ended up turning out smaller, weaker, and actually looking worse than before. And he was a little bit worried and reached out to me that, Ábris, what's the problem? I was considering working with you, let's do something about it. What did I do wrong? And he even told me, he even showed me his DEXA scan before he did a body scan. So DEXA, for those who don't know, this is one of the most accurate ways of testing your body fat, lean muscle mass, and everything that you wanted to know about your skeletal muscle proportions and fat proportions. Very good, highly recommended. Do a DEXA every quarter year, you will be fine. So this CFO reached out to me as well, also did a DEXA before his transformation, showed it to me, and he said, okay, this was the before, I did this and this and this, I was fasting, I was reducing my calories to 1500 a day, I did everything I could, I was running a lot, I was even lifting weights, but that didn't really go well for me, and so on and so on and so on. So many different things that he have been struggling with, and he said, okay, this is how I look like right now, I feel like shit, and even though I lost the weight, I feel more fat right now and uncomfortable in my body than before. I have terrible mood, low energy levels. What do I do? Let's help my situation. Let's come up with something. And I was like, okay, so you did a DEXA scan before you have lost fat. Have you done it after? He said, no, actually not. I was like, okay, let's start with that. So it turned out eventually that this man has lost 21 pounds of total body weight, and 16 pounds of that was muscle mass. So he had a decent muscle mass before, and then he managed to starve himself so much that he has lost a lot of lean mass. 16 pounds of lean mass lost in just a couple of months. That's a lot. You really have to starve yourself. And keep in mind, he's a tall and by natural big guy, right? But even in his case, losing 16 pounds of lean mass, that's a lot. And that's risky. And that's endangering your life. So let me tell you, well, fortunate or unfortunate, you decide. I think it's a quite unfortunate fact about the human body that above the age of 30, every single decade, you lose about 3.5 to 8% of your total skeletal muscle mass. What does that mean for you? This carries the risk of sarcopenia, which is a condition which usually peaks above the age of 60, where you lose so much of your muscle mass that you start having problems with your posture. You start having problems with your balance. Well, maybe your back and forth balance and also your bilateral balance. You start falling over. Walking, so even mundane everyday tasks become difficult for you. This is definitely something that you want to prevent, and this is part of the reason why I always promote the accumulation of lean muscle mass, and the other reason is, of course, that it makes fat loss easier because it's expensive for your body to maintain. So to maintain a pound of lean muscle, your body needs thousands and thousands of calories. So it just keeps burning it, right? And just your basal metabolic rate will just go up by having lots of lean muscle. Of course, broken down on a weekly time horizon, right? On a daily basis, of course, it also adds a lot to your calorie consumption. Let's not get into too much into numbers, and let's spit the straight facts. That for that, to maintain a high amount of muscle mass and to make sure that when you're losing weight, you're not just losing weight, but you're actually losing fat. So it's not going to be a weight loss, but it's going to be a fat loss transformation. That means that you're preserving your lean muscle mass. What does that mean for you? So what's in it for you in general? You want to make sure that you're eating high protein enough, and that's why the only macro that we track with our clients at Demi Cycle Protocol is protein itself. So we're not tracking calories, we're not religious about macros, that this much percentage, this many percentage of carbs and fats you have to eat a day, but we are strict about proteins. And how do we do that, and how do we make it easy, simple and enjoyable? I'm going to show you in a minute. So first of all, you need to track your protein. That's that simple. So how you do that? You can either use a meal tracking app, or you can be aware of some general guidelines of, okay, so let's say 100 grams of chicken breast contains 22 grams of protein. About 100 grams of any kind of cut of lean meat can contain anywhere between 19 to 25 grams of protein. 100 grams of low-fat cheese, anywhere between 22 to 30 grams of protein. 100 grams of skyr yogurt or low-fat Greek yogurt, anywhere between 9 to 11. 100 grams of lean cottage cheese, anywhere between 11 to 14. After a certain amount of time, you will know these. For example, one medium-sized egg, 6 to 7 grams of protein, right? So you will know these by yourself, by default, if you're doing it long enough, if you're tracking it long enough. Actually, after a month or two, you will be able to eye measure these. You don't need a food scale, you don't need all of this nerdy stuff. Just get into it, start eating high protein, and be aware of how much protein you're eating a day, right? And if a meal tracker helps you with that, that's amazing in the beginning. So I'm not against meal trackers, I'm just against religiously using them and wasting a lot of time on them on a daily basis. Another thing that you can do is hire a coach who helps you with exactly this. So you send a picture to him, so you just take a picture of each of the meals that you're eating, you're sending it over, and of course, for example, someone like me who has 9 years of experience in this space, I can just look at your food and tell you with a 95% confidence interval how many grams of protein it contains, right? But what really matters is for you, find whatever way helps you to be aware of your numbers, right? And my next advice would be aware of how much you actually need. Calculate it. You have to do this math once, every once in a while when your body weight significantly changes, and then you adjust your diet accordingly. How much protein do you actually need? Is there too much protein? So yeah, let's establish the straight facts over here. You will need generally 1 gram of protein for every pound of your body weight, or about 1 or 2 grams of protein for every kilograms of your body weight. So if you happen to weigh 170 pounds right now, that would mean 170 grams of protein. Of course, there are nuances to this. So usually we are looking at lean body weight. So if you can figure out what your lean body weight is without fat, so if you can do a DEXA scan at the beginning of your health journey, then definitely do that. So take advantage of this technology and figure out, like, how much you would be weighing if you were like completely lean. And because you could be like 210 pounds right now, you want to go down to 160 because that would be a lean body weight, right? That would mean 160 grams of protein could be totally enough for you. So you don't need to like over consume it. But for some people, even just getting in like 140, 150 grams of protein in a single day is very, very difficult, because they don't know how to do that, right? They might even say that I ate a high protein diet, but I still didn't lose, or I lost fat, but I lost more muscle. What am I doing wrong? My strength is not going up. I've been going to the gym, I've been consistent with it, but somehow the transformation I was looking for still didn't happen. Guess what? You didn't eat enough protein because you have eaten high protein meals, but you haven't been eating a high protein diet, right? Because you've been eating bird portions. So if you have eaten like 150 grams of chicken breast for lunch, right? You ate 3 eggs in the morning, and let's say you had a protein shake in the evening. Well, congrats, but that's not enough, right? You have eaten high protein meals, and yeah, congrats for that, because that's good, right? 3 eggs, about 20 grams of protein, right? We can say that 150 grams of chicken breast is about 30 grams of protein, and let's say that protein shake was 20 grams of protein. So in total, you've got 70 grams of protein. That's great, but you need to double that, right? So you need to be aware of your total numbers that you need for the day, and you need to adjust your protein portion sizes accordingly, right? So this way you can prevent actually losing 3 to 8% of your total muscle mass in every decade. You can actually increase your muscle mass. You can double, triple that at any single age with a normal amount of, or required amount of resistance training, which is usually like 2 to 4 intense sessions per week should be completely enough for you. Numerous research has shown that even above the age of 60, you can make this happen. So age is really not an excuse here. You can actually reverse this process of losing muscle, or decreasing testosterone levels, or decreasing sleep hormone, melatonin levels. So you can reverse everything deteriorative about your aging, and the same goes for your muscle loss if you're eating a high protein diet. If you're eating more protein than you need, it's not going to lead to more muscle, then you enter the territory of diminishing returns, and you definitely don't want that. So because it's gonna be, well, your bathroom break's gonna be a little bit difficult if you're eating too much, but for most people you're eating too little, so you don't have to worry about eating too much protein, because that's not a concern for you, because you have never eaten a high protein diet before. So why would you eat too much right at the start, right? Okay, and then how do you get this sorted for yourself? So now you know how many grams of protein you need a day. You know your numbers. Then you are also tracking it, so you know how many grams you are actually eating in a day. Okay, how do you make sure that you will get it? How do we help our clients make sure that every single day they hit their protein goals without a problem? Well, for each of them, their nutrition plan is personalized and completely flexible, so there are no two completely the same person, no completely equal nutrition plans. It's not something that you can cookie cut and give it to them, okay, eat this, eat chicken, rice and broccoli 6 times a day and you will be sorted. No, it doesn't work like that. But there's like a general guideline that we use, and I call it usually start with a shake and with a steak. And what do I mean by that? Is that usually in the morning as a breakfast, or if you happen to be intermittent fasting because that fits better your schedule. So I'm saying intermittent fasting is not a superior way of losing fat. For me it worked very well, for some of my clients it worked very well, and some of my clients they still prefer to have breakfast, and that's completely okay, right? So I'm just saying first meal of the day, I'm not calling it breakfast, so just to avoid any kind of controversies. I wanted to clarify this, but the first meal of the day is usually a shake, a smoothie made of 1 or 2 scoops of whey protein, a little bit of milk or almond milk, it depends on what you prefer, a couple of fruits in there. I have many different recipes for this, so I will link it in the description. It's called Mythical Shakes for Mythical Gains. I know it sounds cringy, but back then when my company was called Mythical Gains, this is kind of like a recipe book, a mini book that I made with my and my clients' favorite protein smoothie recipes, and they really enjoyed it. I hope you will enjoy it as well. So I will link it in the description. Check it out and let me know what you think, and let me know once you have tried them, like which one is your favorite. So we start with these high protein shakes, and you can customize it for yourself. So there are higher calories, so lean gains version of this, and it's for so those are for the bulking phases, or call it lean bulk, lean gaining. So not too high calorie, but still enough for hypertrophy. And there are some shakes I definitely made for fat loss, so you can get like 50, 60, 70 grams of protein in less than 500 calories. So that's a huge advantage for you, because you can get satiated, you can get the required amount of protein in without having to significantly increase your calorie intake. So this is a huge advantage for you if you go about it this way. And this is basically a no prep food, so you just put these into the blender, throw all them in there, it's ready within 2 minutes. You can consume it in like 3 minutes. So in 5 minutes you have prepared and consumed 50, 60, 70 grams of protein for less than 500 calories, right? It's super low, it's super efficient, and it helps you a lot with fat loss, not because it burns you the calories or burns the calories off of you, right, or burns the fat off of you, but because it helps you preserve and further grow your muscle mass, which will ultimately enhance your metabolism, so you burn more calories per hour at rest. So even sitting at a couch watching my videos, right, you will burn more calories by watching my videos and sitting at the couch, and other people with less muscle mass than you grinding their life away, grinding their nuts out on the treadmill. So this is a very important fact that I wanted to tell you. And as I mentioned, start with a shake and with a steak. So usually the last meal of the day, usually we make that the heaviest, because after that, like 2 to 3 hours after that, of course, not directly after that, it's much easier to fall asleep, and it's much easier to be moderate during the day before the feast in the evening. So then you can reward yourself a little bit, and then you can go for heavier meals. And usually we finish off with a large chunk of steak. And it's good for your metabolism, it supplies your body with proteins throughout the night. What I also do is that now you can reward yourself with some kind of a dessert. And the dessert can be high protein as well. So our dessert strategy, to make sure that even in the dessert you can have at least 50-60 grams of protein, is that you take about 400-500 grams of lean Greek yogurt or skyr yogurt. So this Icelandic yogurt, you can buy it basically in any Western countries. Is that you mix it with a scoop or two of, again, showing it, whey protein. I like the chocolate flavor the most. Couple of berries, virtually no calories, frozen berries, very, very low calorie. And in some cases, like about 25 grams of dark chocolate. And when I mean dark chocolate, or when I say dark chocolate, I mean the 70% plus dark chocolate, so the very dark one, or some raw cacao, because that's also great, and that positively influences your nitric oxide and your testosterone levels. It's great for libido as well. So for example, if your spouse would appreciate more vitality from you in the bedroom, you definitely want to include some dark chocolate or raw cacao in this mix. So you mix this together. If you really want to give yourself like a sweet taste, or like a little bit of a treat, and you haven't been going overboard with your portion sizes for the day, or you haven't been eating too many carbs, and you still have some space left to move, definitely you can put there like a coffee spoon or two of raw honey. So you can make this mixture like really sweet, or you can use glycine to naturally sweeten it. And glycine is a great amino acid for sleep, especially your REM sleep, your brain recovery, and information processing as well. So you hit several birds with the same stone. So you mix this together, and I call this the concoction. So when you are concocting this beautiful mixture, which by the way, it tastes amazing, you either eat it right away as you made it, or you put that into the freezer and for like an hour or two and you consume it as an ice cream. That's a huge advantage, eating it as a helado. And it just tastes sweet, it just tastes good, and generally it's amazing. So now you've got a high protein shake in during the day, probably a lighter lunch. It could be shrimp and eggs, for example. You end your day with a steak and a dessert. So if I, just add these up with like normal adult dosages, we easily accumulated 180 to 200 grams of protein in a single day. So even if you are a 200 pounds person, or even more, let's say you're 250 pounds but your lean body weight would be 200 pounds, with these 4 meals you've got a full day of eating for yourself easily, and you structured a high protein diet. So now you've got your couple of go-to recipes, and of course you can customize it for yourself, and this is what we do for our clients as well. We customize these dietary and nutritional principles, and we not just copy paste these into their lifestyle, but actually we tailor this to their lifestyle. So it fits their taste, it fits their daily schedule, right? And generally the type of foods that they prefer to eat. So, but do you need whey protein for that, right? Do you need whey protein for the smoothies? Do you need whey protein for the concoction, stuff like that? Why can't you just eat real food? Well, whey protein is real food as well, because that's actually from milk, but it's not the casein, the slow protein part of it, it's the other part of the milk protein. So whey is just a counterproduct of the cheese making process. So it's kind of like a natural ingredient. It used to be considered as an industrial waste until they figured out that, well, if you feed this to pigs, they get big as fuck. Hey, what if the pigs get muscular from this? Like, why don't we give this to humans, right? And I kid you not, it works. I mean, whey has been consumed for quite a while right now, and we've got enough research to prove that this is the fastest absorbing and the most bioavailable, one of the most bioavailable forms of protein. So yes, we can consider whey protein as real food. Well, how many additives it has and how well it absorbs depends from brand to brand. I'm not endorsed by any brands, right? I do not have sponsorships deals and stuff like that. I think protein is protein. Don't overcomplicate this. If you're overweight and you want to lose fat, and that's a bigger risk for you than what kind of protein you're taking, then stop trying to major in the minors and just simply eat more protein. And if you don't want to have whey protein, then of course you can have some scrambled eggs for breakfast instead, or you can come up with something else, a couple of salmon carpaccio with raw cheese, or whatever you prefer. There are so many protein sources, there are so many fattier and also so many leaner protein sources available. For example, tilapia, shrimps if you prefer seafood, lean seafood in the morning. So all of these can be figured out. So this is why I say customize this for your lifestyle, and whey protein is not unnecessary, but it's convenient. You can make cookies out of that, smoothies, you can use it for protein cakes, protein pancakes, protein ice cream, the concoction I mentioned. So all of these are super useful and convenient, and they are fast. So this is why I like whey protein. I'm not saying that this is completely necessary for you, right? So, but this is our regular diet framework that start with a shake, end with a steak, and you won't be hungry for the rest of the day. You're less likely to overeat other macros. But it's crucial to be aware of this, that protein is basically the only macro worth tracking, because this will decide whether you lose just weight or you lose fat and you end up looking like that you really wanted to look like. That was really your goal. So basically that would be my advice for today. So track your protein, know your numbers, have your go-to foods, and start with a shake, end with a steak. But Ábris, I'm hungry during the day and I'm still not having enough protein because I can't eat, let's say, 200 or 300 grams of steak in one sitting. How do I sneak in some variety? How do I sneak in more protein into my diet? How do I kind of like fill in the holes in between meals. How do I do that? So this is what we do by high protein snacks. So we have plenty of different options available, and what we also advise for our clients about protein consumption in form of high protein snacks that actually you can go to work with. You can pack this for long haul flights, for travel and stuff like that, so you can always have these on the go. So my favorite picks and my clients' favorite picks are any kind of jerkies. It could be chicken tenders, beef jerky, salmon jerky, turkey jerky. All of these are amazing sources of protein, quick sources of protein, and quite lean, so completely full of particular amounts of carbs and fats, and really they just don't really add too much to your total daily energy consumption. Completely safe to consume. Any kind of protein shakes, protein smoothies, of course, hard-boiled eggs if you can pack some, string cheese, especially the low-fat string cheese is a life hack. Low-fat or lean cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, skyr yogurt, and whey puddings. For example, I think Oikos, right? I don't know which brand, but they have pretty decent like whey protein puddings that you can actually eat, and it's sweet as hell, and it's high in protein. These protein milks, protein drinks like Fairlife, and I know many of you are hating Fairlife because the additives and the preservatives and stuff like that, but just think about it. If you are pre-diabetic, or if your organs are threatened by the amount of visceral fat that you have below your abdomen, is the additives and the preservatives your biggest concern in the Fairlife protein milk? Like, are you serious? Right? So, as I said before, stop trying to major in the minors. So focus on what you need: a lean, high protein, and enjoyable diet that you can actually sustain in the long term, so you won't end up hating it. So why would you cut out Fairlife protein milk if that's good on the go, right? You have it every once in a while and you just take it with you, boom, you just got 30 grams of protein sorted, you killed your hunger, and as a result of that you haven't drank sugary sodas, right? You haven't eaten let's say big, huge, double bun, double patty hamburger, right? Then it's an advantage for you. So actually, in this case, Fairlife has contributed more to your health than it has taken away from it. So always think of the nuances of health and fitness. Don't get on the train of being a biohacker or like a esoteric health optimizer, because if you don't know the basics, if you don't nail the fundamentals, then you won't be successful with another supplement or with another neuroticism about your health, right? Stop being neurotic, or stop even trying to be neurotic about certain aspects of your health. Just get the fundamentals nailed, reduce your body fat, and preserve your muscle mass. Because preserving your muscle mass will help you from imbalances, falling over, and deteriorating fast as an old person. And also losing body fat will prevent, or at least protect you from heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, fatigue, brain fog, and many different symptoms, and later on health risks and medical costs. Like we're talking about multi-six-figure medical costs later on in your life. This is what losing body fat, not just body weight, will prevent you from. So this is my advice for today, and this is how I would go about eating more protein and generally eating a high protein diet. And I really hope that this helped you and you found this useful. And in case you find it a little bit overwhelming and you need personalized help with this, and you would need someone to craft up like a nutrition plan for you, and flexible guidance or a flexible set of rules that you can live by, and a couple of go-to recipes, and you're interested in working with us one-on-one, then go to the description and book a free call below, but only if you are ready to make a commitment, and if you're ready to invest in your health, and you're not procrastinating anymore, and you recognize the importance of taking action right now, and you can't delay it anymore. If you're not this type of person, and your mind is not in shape yet, your brain is not in shape yet, you haven't adopted the mindset of changing fast and ignoring all of your excuses and forgetting about slow metabolism, bad genetics, having no time, being too busy, not sure if it is for me, not sure if it will work for me. So if you do not believe enough in yourself to make it happen, then it's not gonna happen, because it all starts here in the brain. So I highly recommend you that in this case, if you are this type of person who doesn't believe in himself enough yet, then don't book a call with us. Let's not waste each other's time. But I want to help you out to get your brain in shape. And how do we do that? Watch my previous videos where I talk a lot about mindset and breaking your beliefs that have been holding you back for years and decades. And if you generally enjoyed this video and you found these tips useful, or for example, you already tried some of my smoothies, then let me know in the comments below how you like them. And if you haven't tried them yet, just go to the description and click on Mythical Shakes for Mythical Gains, and feel free to save these recipes, show this to your spouse, your mom, your daughter, or whoever might find it interesting, or your buddies who want to switch the beers to protein shakes, right? And if you generally just like this video, then hit the like and the subscribe button, share this with your friends, family, employees, teammates, colleagues, whoever is important to you and whoever you don't want to fall over and lose their balance when they get old, right? So it's very important. Let's take care of each other, and if that means taking care of each other's and our own muscle mass, then so be it. Just eat high protein. Thank you, and see you in the next one.